Hi everyone. I am making us a video of how to do the library searches for the articles for our research team next semester. I'm doing this in December, so it will be next semester. You probably won't watch this till spring. But I wanted to just go over briefly some of the reasons why we'll be talking about in our meetings all the time, the reasons why, but I also think it's just important to have this in recording and in writing so that you're getting the information from lots of places. So hopefully it will resonate and stick. So a couple of things as we're doing this lit review, a couple of things to note. One is that it's really important to focus on the literature about college students. So there is a lot of literature about the ways that people experience domestic violence, sexual assault, rape, sexual harassment, and all of that research is important, and there's just too much of it. So one of our parameters for narrowing down how we're looking at and thinking about the intersection of oppression and violence is that we're very specifically and intentionally focusing on the scholarship that is specifically about college students. So I'm going to say this over and over and over again. This is actually an area I experience some resistance because people are like, well, it's all the same, and it's not all the same. So we are focusing on college students, and so the literature that you look at this semester will be focused on college students. So I just want to be clear about that. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to go about finding the articles to read. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you through the library website how to go about engaging in this research through the library website. So you can see here I'm on Zoom right now, but through the library website, I'm going to show you how I got here. So you go to the University of Utah library website, library.utah.edu, and then you go specifically to databases. And under databases, you select W, and then in the W's, you are looking for Web of Science. I went too far. So Web of Science is the database that we're going to use for this project, primarily because this, in my experience doing searches on this topic, this database has been the most comprehensive and includes the most journals relevant to our topic. So you click on Web of Science, and you're going to want to make an account in Web of Science specifically. You can see here I already have an account. This is going to be a test to see if I remember my password or not. I don't, darn it. Well, at any rate, you should sign into your account when you do this. I'm just going to show you the search without signing into the account, but you should establish an account so you can save things there. So the first thing you're going to see when you get on the website, Web of Science homepage, is there are boxes where you can go to put in the topics that you want to study. And what I want to make sure you do is under on the left-hand side, you always need to select topic. So there's all kinds of different things you can choose. You can do all fields, title, author, publication. For this project, we're always selecting topic. For this project, we're also all going to use the same search terms in the first two lines. So you can see here, we're looking for sexual violence or sexual assault or rape or dating violence, right? So you can see here, there's a very long line of words we're looking for. And then on the second line, we add the and. So in these connector boxes, you can add and or not. We are doing and. So the second part of our search is that we're going to be looking for campus or college or university. And then the third line is and that is where your specific identity group will be important to put in. You and I will do some one-on-one consulting to talk about what search terms to use. You can see here, this category that I created would be for students of color broadly, and I also included several different terms that I could think of that are terms that frequently get used in research about race and ethnicity among college students. So we've got the first three are and. And like I said, the first two will be the same for everyone. The third one will vary depending on the population that you pick, but you and I will consult on that. The next line that you'll need to add is the publication date. We're looking very intentionally at the last 10 years of research. This is, again, another way to narrow it down. In this particular area, they use the, I guess it's, I don't know where this version of dates comes from, but it's the year, month, date version. So, and we will all use the same for this as well. So it's from January 1st, 2011 to December 31st, 2021. So we're going to use those 10 years. So once you do this, you click on search and you see here, I got 128 results. I can also scroll down, and this is what I'm going to ask you all to do. On the left-hand side, you can see here there are some filters that you can use. We are going to use, like, all of these are great. We're not going to select out any of these until we get down here to the bottom where it has countries and regions. We also want to focus only on scholarship that happened in the United States. And the reason for that is also because we just have to have limiters, and we can't, because we can't read everything. So this is just one of the parameters that I'm asking us all to use. So you will refine it that way. And then those are the only, in this database, those are the only limiters you need. In some databases, you have to check a box that says peer reviewed. But one of the reasons I like Web of Science is that everything in Web of Science is peer reviewed. So you can see here, we have 128 articles with all of these limiters. And I, at this point, think what you should just do, if you're somewhere in around, I'd say if your initial result pulls up 150 articles or less, we're just going to go with it. So what you'll do is click on export, and I'd like you to export to Excel, and you're going to export all record. You want to do all records. So if you click on all records on page, it will just do the first 50 or first 25, whatever you have it set up to. So for this, you want to do all records. So it doesn't really matter, but you can put in 1 to 150. And then I would encourage you, I think that it's perfectly appropriate to just start with the author, title, and source for this project. And then you will export that Excel file, and you see here, then you can just open right up this Excel file so that you know that you're going to be looking for or using about 128 articles. You can see here when you pull this, when you first open this, it's a mess. So I would just clean it up so you can read it. So delete the columns that are not the 3 that we're focused on. So we are focused on the authors, the article title, and the journal. So everything else, sorry, I'm having a hard time there. Everything else you can just delete so that it makes it easier to read. And you can see here, I'm stretching it out so I can see a little bit better what they are. But from here on, I'm just gonna highlight all the columns that are left. I know this seems ridiculous, but this is much easier than the other way. So delete. So that leaves us with the 3 main columns that we want to use. You can also, to make it more readable, you can go ahead and wrap text. Where, I always forget where that is exactly. There, you know, in Word, there are a million ways that you can get to the same thing. So here we go. This is one way to get to it. But if you click on wrap text, that will just make it so you can actually read the whole title and see the names of all the authors. So everyone will do this. And then what you'll do is go back to the Web of Science. And this is the part where it starts to get tedious. So this is why it's important to save your work, or sorry, to set up an account so you can save your search within the Web of Science website, because you're not going to be able to do this all in one setting. But if you leave them in the same order, you'll be able to keep coming back and looking at them. So this particular search that we just did was for one on, I was looking for studies about dating or sexual violence among students of color. And this first one to me doesn't actually look like that's what it is. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to skim the abstract and just see. So it says, This is a systematic review and it assessed 196 studies. Disproportionate representation in the populations and settings. So yes, this actually, so just because it was not in the title, I thought, this doesn't seem to be centering race. But when we look at it, it's actually, this is one of those articles that is probably gonna show up in multiple ones of your searches, and that's okay, because we can't, even though we're focusing on one identity, obviously those one identities are not separate from students' other identities. So we'll leave this one in the bunch. So then what you would want to do is go to click to view on full text. And if you're logged in through the library, it should pull up the full text. So you can see right here, download PDF. And then what you'll do after you get to the page where you download it is you'll click on the download button, and then you're going to save it as the first author's last name and the first 3 words of the article. So you'll see here, I'm saving it as Schrag. No, I already forgot, sorry, campus-based sexual. Okay, so it's Schrag campus-based sexual. And you can save that somewhere on your own computer to start. So you'll just save it on your own computer. I would encourage you to set up a folder where you're just saving these all to the same folder. And you are literally going to download every article that comes up in the 128 articles. So you can see here, here's another one, check for the full text at publisher. Do not, let me say this loud and clear. Do not ever pay for an article. There are going to be lots of times where it pops up and it says, your library doesn't have this, you have to pay for it. And they're like $30 a piece. Do not do that. If for some reason you get to an article and it says, let's see, this is an example. So it will say access to your institution, log on. Like, it's very frustrating, quite honestly, because it seems like it should just come up. But this is an example of one that our library, it doesn't come up easily. So you're going to go to interlibrary loan to get this. So you'll go back to the library website, scroll down, click on interlibrary loan, and then you sign in using your usual credentials. Uh-oh. Come on. That's a bummer. Darn it, that's a bad example because usually interlibrary loan is so easy. Well, I will show you how to do interlibrary loan at a different time. But basically what you're doing is you're just going through and downloading every single one of these articles. So then what you will do eventually is you will upload this sheet that you saved. I would like you to upload it to your Google Drive folder that has just your name on it, so I can see the articles that you are digging through. And I also want you to upload all of the articles that you pull into that same folder. So you'll just put everything in that shared folder. So that's how we are going to go about doing our searches. We're using Web of Science. We're all using the same first 2 lines. We're all using the same publication date, and then we'll vary what our 3rd line is based on the specific population that you will be studying. Again, we'll talk about all of this in our research team. I just wanted to have a video of it so you could go back and consult it if you need to. I also ask that you don't wait till the last minute to do this, so that if you do have trouble, you and I can talk through it and we can figure it out together. We are shooting for around 100 articles per topic. And then I'm going to make a different video about how to go about how to go about reading the articles, because the reality is you're not actually reading the articles, you're reviewing the articles, looking for very specific information. So like I said, I'll make a different video that talks about that, but this is the summary video on how to go about searching for articles.